Alright, it's been, about 21 hours since the game started, so I think it's soaked in long enough. I would have made it this morning, but I went to District 9. I might talk about that later. But last night's game, we looked good in most areas. There were a couple things that I do want to talk about, and I'll lead off with that actually. First of all, even though we won and we did look good, the offensive line wasn't really doing it for me. Running the ball, we didn't run the ball very well, and the pass blocking wasn't there. I think Sean Locklear was getting beat for sacks multiple times. I think he gave up 2, maybe 3 sacks. So that bothered me quite a bit. That was something that was good last week. Our quarterbacks had plenty of time to do whatever they needed to do. And today, you look at the numbers, they still played well, but there were a couple of sacks, quite a few more pressures. There was one drive near the end of the first quarter where it seemed like every play, the quarterback was either scrambling so he could complete a pass or he was getting sacked. So I don't really like that, and I know Sean Locklear is not our starting left tackle, so what are you going to do? But I still like him. I still expect more of him than that. And, he probably will start for us this year at right tackle. And I know left tackle is different from right tackle. It's not as hard, but still. And our defense was on the field too long. Denver won the time of possession battle pretty convincingly, and I don't really like that. I think they had like 35 plus minutes. So not really a fan of that. There were some drives Denver had that they marched up and down the field. We weren't getting good quarterback pressure. And it seemed like whenever they needed to make a pass, they could make it a few times. So that bothered me. Other than that, I want to talk about all the good things I saw. Offensively, Matt looked great. That first touchdown he threw was awesome to Butler. Butler is looking good. Butler's been making some plays. He made 2 catches today. One of them was the great touchdown pass, and when I saw that, I was like, why are we throwing a deep ball? It's 3rd and 5 or whatever. But, he caught it. I didn't think it was going to happen because the throw had to be perfect, the cornerback had to jump too late, and the receiver had to actually catch it, and everything happened. So that was an awesome play. His other touchdown was to Hushmanzada, which was a great play. One of those fades to the back of the end zone. I don't really like that play because I think it has a low percentage chance of working, but it worked on that play and it got us exactly what we needed. So Matt looks great. I'm ready to go into the season with him, depending on him. Wallace came in, only completed 4 passes for 17 yards, so a lot of short stuff, but he did throw the touchdown to Joel Newton, and I think it was a 1-yard touchdown on 4th down. And at first I thought that Newton had dropped the ball, but it did look like he had held on to it. So you got to give it up to him because he's not a guy who's likely to make a big impact on this team because we do have John Carlson and maybe another tight end will come on, but every little bit helps. Forsett catching the ball on those screens. I love those screens. He had that 130-yarder to keep a drive alive. He had a couple other great run after the catch plays, so I liked what I saw from Justin Forsett. And he was the guy who was great in the preseason last year, but he didn't have any room on this team. So I'm hoping we can find a way to use him this year in some capacities. So hopefully, we can use him as a running back that can catch some passes, catch those little screens. I hope we can find some way to use him because I like what I see from him. He's as a running back, I can give or take him, but when he was catching those little passes, it's great. Hushmanzada, 5 catches, 41 yards. That's pretty good for one half of work. I like the chemistry he and Matt seem to be developing, so that's great. And, really Denver's defense is not that good. They did get a good pass rush last night, but on a whole, they're not very good, and they kind of showed why last night. The fake play where Deion Branch the pass, it's kind of fun, but you only see that kind of stuff in the preseason. To my knowledge, Deion Branch has never played quarterback at any level, so I'm not totally sure I get that, but Katu, still perfect in the preseason. I feel safe with these kickers. And that's important because I felt very insecure about my kickers before, and it's not fun. So I like these guys. What else? Defensively, again, I did feel like we were a little sluggish in the first half. There were some points where Denver was moving up and down the field, but Nick Reed, he's doing everything he can to make this team. He blocked the punt, which is a special teams play, but he had a sack and a half. He had a sack and a pick last week. I think he forced a fumble this week. It might have been the fumble he forced on Scheffler. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been Babineau, but it doesn't matter who it was. All I know is Nick Reed is playing great this preseason, getting pressure, getting sacks, making plays. I don't know if there's room for him on this team, but he's going to make it somewhere, I'm pretty sure. We got great quarterback pressure in the second half. In the first half, I thought Orton had way too much time, and I was kind of down about that. But we did come away with, I think, 4 sacks on the game, so only so much you can say about that. Our tackling was bad in the first half, though. I mean, I gotta say, I thought our tackling was really sloppy, and you know, tackling is something that in the preseason you do kind of need to take seriously, because you can say, oh, well, our passing game isn't working because the timing isn't there, but tackling is tackling. So that's something I didn't really like to see, but not really a big deal. The interception by Ken Lucas was, you know, Orton looked so good all game. I mean, he really did. He was driving Denver up and down the field. He was completing those short passes, doing everything he needed to do, finding wide open targets. He looked great. And then gets down to the 1-yard line, 4th and 1. He pretty much just flips it with his left hand into the end zone. And you know, when you look at a play like that, it makes you miss Jay Cutler even more. And I know last week people were talking about, well, you know, that's not a good way to start off your Denver career, all things considered. And he looks so good in this game too, and he makes that one dumb mistake, and people are going to talk about that one dumb mistake, as they should. I mean, Orton drove them all the way down the field, all the way down to the 1-yard line, and he did that. He pretty much gave it to us. I mean, it could not have been easier. So, you know, props to Ken Lucas for making the pick, but it was a easy one. So that's pretty much it. You know, we got to work on the tackling. I'd like to see a little more from the offensive line, but solid game. We won 27-13. I liked a lot of what I saw. Ready for the dress rehearsal next week against, I think, Kansas City. It might be Oakland, but I think it's Kansas City. So I didn't watch any of the other preseason games, so I'm going to leave it at that. See you guys later.